The results were amazing.
Tell your body to hit the reset button.
I felt like I was doing a science project on myself.
And you'll be glad you did.
I had not seen that kind of result in anything that I've done.
Plus, a baby who needed a home.
I just longed to help her.
And much more.
She had less than a year to live.
And former club co-host Sheila Walsh returns to the CBN studios on today's show.
Hello and welcome to the 700 Club. It's so nice to have you join us today. The debate over gay rights and religious freedom is turning America into a battleground. 34 states are considering bills to protect clergy and business owners who object to gay marriage on religious grounds. And as George Thomas reports, that fight is getting ugly.
Business owners Dick and Betty Odgaard's story should serve as a warning of what happens when so-called religious freedom laws are not in place to protect people of faith. On August 3, 2013, a gay couple asked the Odgaards if they could rent their gallery in Iowa for a same-sex wedding.
They came in and Dick was there. He was the one that had to deliver the bad news to them.
The Odgaards refused, citing their Christian belief that marriage should be between one man and one woman.
I don't want to celebrate my sins. I don't want other people to celebrate my sins, nor do I want to participate in celebrating anybody else's sins.
The gay couple sued them for discrimination, and after a 2-year court battle, rather than celebrate gay marriages, the Christian couple paid the same-sex couple a fine and agreed to stop hosting weddings at the gallery.
It has been difficult, I won't lie. It's been the hardest thing we've ever been through, and I don't wish it on anyone.
Their decision cost them dearly. After months of negative publicity, hate mail, death threats, and loss of income, the Goetz House Gallery went out of business last year.
The ugly continues to come at us, but I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. And we would do it all over again the same way because we're in the middle of God's will.
Since last summer's Supreme Court decision legalizing same-sex marriage, more than 100 religious freedom bills have been proposed in 34 states to protect Christians and others from the threat of legal action because they object to gay marriage on religious grounds. Take, for example, the new law just passed in Mississippi.
The Mississippi law says if you believe marriage is the union of a man and a woman, that sex is reserved for marriage, and that we're created male and female. It doesn't say you have to believe those things, but it says if you do believe those things, we're not going to penalize you if you act on those beliefs.
In Louisiana and Ohio, lawmakers are proposing measures that protect pastors who refuse to perform same-sex marriages. Ryan Anderson is with the Washington, D.C. based Heritage Foundation. He says the accusation that these religious freedom laws discriminate against gays and lesbians just isn't true.
The basic argument here is that we're trying to protect pluralism. We're trying to protect diversity. We're promoting tolerance.
But some of the laws have been met with fierce opposition from businesses, activists, and celebrities. North Carolina's governor was forced to roll back portions of a controversial bathroom law affecting transgenders after several companies criticized it and others threatened to stop their businesses in the state.
I think this just shows you what's taking place. It's a form of cronyism. It's cultural cronyism. Big business is using their market freedom to deny little businesses and religious people their religious freedom.
What is clear, though, is that the backlash from last year's Supreme Court decision has brought religious freedom concerns to the forefront this spring, with many Americans believing that the battle over gay rights versus protecting people's religious convictions is just beginning. George Thomas, CBN News.
Protecting people's religious convictions, isn't that what our country was founded on? The opportunity for people to come and practice freely? I'm not sure you can legislate morality. You know, I don't have to agree with you to respect you. But to take away someone's business, to insist that they get some kind of sensitivity training because they don't agree with your position on something just seems outside the box of who we are as a country. But as you heard in that piece, it's not just about the gay rights issue. It's infiltrating everywhere, even the political scenario today that we're all complaining about having to listen to day after day after day is built on that same premise that if you don't agree with what I think or what I say, then something has to be done to take care of you and remove you from whatever box you're standing on, declaring your role. We need to respect each other. We need to go back to a place of civility where we can have discussions about things of difference without finger pointing, name calling, or taking away the rights of one group so that I can have rights for myself. If you're one of the millions of Americans figuring out their tax bill this week, oh my, I am. Wait until you see our next story. John Jessup has the details from our CBN News Bureau in Washington. John?
Thanks, Terry. Get this. The 2016 Congressional Pig Book is out, and you, the taxpayer, are spending more than $5 billion in earmarks. The group Citizens Against Government Waste released its annual compilation of pork barrel projects, which includes 123 earmarks. That's an increase of more than 20% of the wasteful spending in 2015. Making the Pork Hall of Shame this year is $8 billion for something called aquatic plant control. There's also $40 million to upgrade the M1 Abrams tank, even though the Pentagon doesn't want it. Congress actually imposed a moratorium against earmarks in 2011, but they're making a comeback.
We must cut this out-of-control spending and ensure that spending constraints are in place if we are ever going to get our debt under control.
No one who reads this year's Pig Book can say that there's nowhere left to cut federal spending.
Citizens Against Government Waste named Senate Minority Leader Harry Reid as Porker of the Month. Government repression and violence by extremists are the main factors driving human rights abuses around the world. That's according to the latest report from the Obama administration. The report highlighted countries like North Korea, China, Cuba, and Iran as the biggest offenders. Secretary of State John Kerry says most countries have made progress to uphold the universal standard.
We have seen important democratic gains in such countries as Tunisia, Nigeria, Sri Lanka, and Burma, though in each there are challenges that still need to be overcome, but we are working closely with each of those countries in efforts to help meet those challenges.
Kerry also cited countries like Vietnam and Egypt for having made improvements. Well, anti-Semitism is on the rise in Europe. It's being fueled by the massive influx of refugees from Muslim countries. The situation is causing Jewish communities to consider their options. CBN Middle East Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell has that story.
For the Jewish community, the refugee crisis is a huge problem.
According to Israeli author Manfred Gerstenfeld, that's because most are Muslims, a group behind some of the most extreme hate crimes in Europe.
Many of them are anti-Semites from the most anti-Semitic countries in the world.
Gerstenfeld blames what he calls massive non-selective immigration from Muslim countries. And with the new influx of refugees from the Middle East, it's getting worse.
You bring them in, you don't register them properly, you don't know whether terrorists come them who sees Jews as a target. So for the Jews it is a very major problem.
Following last year's terror attacks in Copenhagen, one outside a synagogue, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu made headlines by urging European Jews to come home to Israel. Thousands accepted the offer, and immigration from Europe to Israel spiked over the last 2 years. But Gerstenfeld tells CBN News it's not practical for everyone.
Elites consider leaving, they send their children, but the people who know only French, what can they do? They have to sit out their life till their pensions. Then they may come to Israel, unless they start burning synagogues.
Now the attack in Brussels is causing Belgian Jews to consider their options.
I'm seriously asking the question if I can stay here and if there's a future for my children here.
Nevertheless, Belgian Jew Patricia Teitelbaum said the decision isn't easy.
We're always speaking about it. Should we leave? Should we stay? Above all, we are also Belgians, so we are used to compromise. We are still hesitating, probably more than the French Jews, because they are leaving in much higher percentage. But definitely we ask ourselves the question, yeah.
Even in the midst of those questions, Teitelbaum is clear on one subject. She sees this as a warning for the West, because when attacks happen against Jews, it's only the beginning of trouble for everyone else. Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Thanks, Chris. Russian fighter jets in the Baltic Sea played a wicked game this week, flying dangerously close to a U.S. warship.
On the deck, below the bridge wing.
The incident violated international law for militaries operating in close proximity to each other. And this is not the first time Russian jets have acted recklessly. There have been multiple incidences over the past year when Russian fighter jets have flown too close to other air and sea traffic. Terry, that's some pretty provocative and alarming video there.
Unbelievable. Thank heavens for American restraint. I'm not going to lie, I was surprised by it with something like that happening. Well, up next, if you're looking to shed the pounds and trim the inches off your waistline, we've got great news. All you have to do is hit the reset button.
Women lost on average about 15 pounds. They dropped their blood sugar by 21 points.
So what's the secret behind this new plan? Find out. It's coming up after this. When it comes to losing weight, the body can have a gender bias. According to one physician, hormone imbalances put women at a disadvantage. But as Lori Johnson shows us, women can possibly hit a hormone reset button and still shed those unwanted pounds.
After years of frustration, Lori Mazzone found a way to reclaim her high school figure. It helped her lose 11 pounds in just 3 weeks, followed by another 7, and she's not done.
I lost 4 inches off my waist. 4 inches in a month is unbelievable. I had not seen that kind of result in anything that I've done.
Lori balanced her hormones under the direction of gynecologist Sarah Gottfried, who lost 25 pounds when she first tried it on herself.
I started to share it with women in my practice, and the results were amazing. So women lost on average about 15 pounds. They dropped their blood sugar by 21 points. They lost 4 inches off their waist. We now have had 5,000 people go through this program.
If one or more of 7 key hormones is out of whack, forget about losing weight. But the good news is we can balance them with our fork. Specific foods can disrupt hormone levels. That can be fixed by avoiding the disruptive food for at least 3 days. In her book, The Hormone Reset Diet, Dr. Gottfried lays out a 21-day plan for 7 weight-related hormones.
It was gradual. It wasn't like a shock to my system. It wasn't like, oh, okay, now you're off of all these foods at once, and it wasn't overwhelming. It was done in small little bits and pieces.
Starting with red meat and alcohol, which can raise estrogen.
Estrogen is what makes us feminine. It gives us breasts and hips. But when it's out of whack, when it's too high relative to progesterone, it's going to make you have weight loss resistance. You're not going to be able to lose weight no matter what.
There are substitutes.
When I would come home at night, I would get a wine glass and I would just fill it with seltzer and apple cider vinegar. I felt like I was drinking wine.
The next 3 days, add fruit to the off-limits list to reset leptin.
It's the satiety hormone, and that means it controls your hunger.
Then give up caffeine, which disrupts cortisol.
Cortisol is the main stress hormone. And when it's too high, it grows this muffin top. It just gives you belly fat that you can't get rid of.
So once I've come off the caffeine, I was sleeping like a baby.
Thyroid levels that are too high or too low can cause problems.
Some of the common symptoms are thinning hair, weight gain, typically 10, 20 pounds, fatigue, depression.
Eliminate grains to reset your thyroid.
I grew up in an Italian family and they serve you like a half a pound of pasta. So I was dying. How am I going to do that?
She did it by eating pasta substitutes like spaghetti squash or shirataki noodles. Next, avoid sweets to balance insulin.
The sugar cravings were completely gone after 4 days, and I was really addicted to sugar.
Abstain from milk products to reset your growth hormone.
Dairy, I thought would be hard for me because I like cheese so much, but I replaced it with hummus and I was fine. I didn't even miss it.
Finally, avoid environmental toxins like plastic and certain cosmetics to balance testosterone.
The average woman puts on about 515 synthetic chemicals every day on our skin.
After you've reset your hormones, you don't necessarily have to avoid these things forever. Every 3 days, add one back and see how your body responds, because everyone's different.
And then you feel like a blank canvas. And you're like, you've gotten rid of all these foods and you feel so great. And then you get to bring them back and see what happens, and that's kind of interesting.
When Lori resumed eating red meat, there was no change, so it's still on the menu. Dairy, however, brought a different result. She gained 5 pounds in just 3 days, a clear sign to stay away.
I felt like I was doing a science project on myself.
That was just the beginning.
I missed my caffeine, I thought. So I had a cup of coffee, and that night I didn't sleep. And that was it. I just never had it again.
So for women, hormones often dictate whether the body will burn fat or hold on to it. By replacing disruptive foods with healthy substitutions, we gain another weapon in the battle of the bulge. Lori Johnson, CBN News.
I thought this was such an encouraging report. I'm sure you feel like I do. It's nice to know that you don't have to do without these things forever. It's also nice to know that you can earmark what the target problem is. The cortisol thing in the coffee, though, is just not working for me. So I don't know. We're going to stick with that. But learn more about the Hormone Reset Diet and where you can find the book on our website, cbn.com. Well, up next, an orphan child who was once branded unadoptable.
What do you mean she's not adoptable? So they explained that it would take 7 to 9 months at quickest, and they didn't feel she would live that long.
Watch as one family brings a baby into their home with stage 4 cancer when we return. It can be hard to imagine in a world where millions of children are looking for homes that there are some who are labeled unadoptable. But that was the case with baby Maya. She had a large tumor inside her little body. Thankfully, she also had something else, a family who was willing to fight for her life.
Shelley White vividly remembers the first time she laid eyes on the 18-month-old Chinese orphan named Maya. The little girl was featured on Show Hope orphan care website in March 2013.
I was showing everyone her picture, and I was thinking, gosh, this girl is so precious and she needs a home, and I just longed to help her.
But Maya needed more than a home.
It said she had stage 4 cancer and she needed healing and a forever home. So we prayed for that.
At the time, adoption wasn't on the radar for Shelley or her husband Hal. They already had 4 children of their own and were having a rough time financially.
Which is a lot. I'd always kind of thought adoption was maybe for people who couldn't have children, you know, maybe weren't blessed with a big family like God had already blessed us.
But Shelley couldn't get Maya off her mind.
I think I had this deep love for her right away. It was something I had never experienced.
So they prayed about it every day and soon sensed God leading them to adopt little Maya. A week into the process, they learned there was a problem.
We got a call from the agency saying that they had some bad news for us, that she was unadoptable. What do you mean she's not adoptable? So they explained that it would take 7 to 9 months at quickest, and they didn't feel she would live that long.
The Chinese agency told them their only option was to bring Maya to the U.S. for better treatment as her medical guardians. That's when they met Dr. Stephen Wright of Kosair Children's Hospital in Louisville, Kentucky.
The first thing I thought was, yeah, we just need to get her over here. Let's do it.
Dr. Wright, the hospital, and several other doctors agreed to donate their services. Still, there were no guarantees.
We wanted them to be sure that up front that they knew it was going to be a long and sometimes arduous course that Maya might have to go through.
Maya arrived in the U.S. on May 7, 2013. She spent most of the next 10 months in the hospital undergoing aggressive chemotherapy to shrink the large abdominal tumor.
The hardest part was when she was in so much pain. She was in unbearable pain. She would cry and scream and sweat multiple times a day. It was awful.
Every time I felt really, really hopeless or really, really down, there would be something. At exactly the right time, I would get a text from a friend that says, "I'm praying for you."
But the tumor did not respond, and 2 days after Christmas 2013, doctors had to stop the treatments.
It was really, really hard. I mean, it was devastating. They said that there was nothing further they could do, and that she had less than a year to live.
Doctors decided to remove the tumor to make little Maya more comfortable.
We were told, we'll take this out and the cancer will likely come back, but at least she'll have some good pain-free time.
Maya's primary surgeon, Dr. Mary Fallett, explained that they had to remove other organs affected by the tumor.
You know, this was a sort of thing where you're going for broke, and we knew that the tumor was just in the pelvis and not in the lungs or the brain or anywhere else, and this is otherwise a normal child. And so what this required was removing the bladder, the uterus, the vagina, and the rectum.
And I really just had to change my thinking that my hope couldn't be in her healing. My hope just had to be that God had us all in his hands and it was going to be okay no matter what happened.
Throughout this journey, I think the one thing, you obviously know that we're not in control. God is in control and God has a plan.
That plan exceeded all expectations. Maya not only lived another year, she remained cancer-free, making her once again adoptable. In April 2015, Maya officially became a part of the White family.
Oh, it was really neat. I got to see where she lived and I got to see where she was found.
Maya's been cancer-free for more than 2 years now and is doing great. Her doctors are hopeful for many more.
I mean, there's always complications that can occur, so I'd like to think we had a home run here.
As for her new family, they've all learned to trust God no matter how bleak things may look.
I first considered it an act of obedience to God. But what I didn't know is how much that obedience would bless me and the joy that I would get from that obedience.
I'll tell you, the family is an unbelievable example of Christian love, a really challenge to the rest of us to step up to the plate.
It's just deepened our faith. Sometimes you kind of get sidetracked by grades and sports, and you want them to be a lot of things, but now it's just really none of it matters. I just want to raise her to be a girl that knows God and that trusts him.
What a wonderful picture of the truth that God puts us all in families. First his, and then if we're blessed, a wonderful family here in this world. I love what this family did. I love their commitment. I love their sacrifice. I love the picture of God's truth, that he sees us right where we are, a little girl with stage 4 cancer in an orphanage somewhere in the very big country of China. And God put his finger upon her and put his finger upon that family. And today they live healthy and together. Well, while Maya was labeled as unadoptable, the young children you're going to see in this next story were labeled as untouchable. Some were abandoned at birth, only to be abandoned again as teens. But there was one group dedicated to them for the long haul, and they're getting help from CBN's Orphans Promise.
Laura grew up in an orphanage, and since she was little, she's had nagging questions about her parents. I wonder why they threw me away, she says. She hasn't seen them in 14 years, since she was 2 years old. Laura was a Chinese throwaway baby because she was born with a rare genetic disorder called osteogenesis imperfecta, or brittle bone disease. Charlotte was born with the same disorder. Orphanage workers were afraid to handle her for fear of breaking her bones. So she spent most of her first 4 years in a crib. When she was rescued and brought to Agape Family Lifehouse a year ago, she could only make baby sounds. She was 5 years old. Agape has become a haven for children who suffer with this rare and misunderstood bone disorder. The complex is located in a residential neighborhood outside Beijing and is sponsored by Orphans Promise. Workers and house parents are unlocking the potential of these children while helping to heal their emotional traumas. Clay and Jewel have been house parents for 4 years.
Sometimes they look at themselves and they're like, what am I ever going to do? So trying to build their self-image and provide an education for them.
One of the best things Agape House is doing is finding a solution for this crippling disorder. About 10 years ago, Director Keith Weiss started bringing American doctors to train the Chinese in surgical procedures. They learned to use rods to stabilize and strengthen the bones in the children's arms and legs. The program is very successful and has become well known across the region. Because children grow so quickly, surgery is an ongoing process. Through these endless cycles of surgery and therapy, Agape is involved for the long term. Some of the younger children are adopted, but many age out without finding a forever home.
They were abandoned when they were born. They turned 14 and they were pretty much abandoned again. No family came along to adopt them. So they kind of got hit twice. And, what do you do with those kids? Do you just give up on them? I don't think so. That's not what we're here about. It's just finding that thing that God has given them as a gift.
How can we use Stephen's musical talent? How can he use that in the future? Laura loves hair, so how can we encourage her? How can we help her be a hairdresser? Or Candy to be a librarian. She said she wants to own a library because the books will be free. We want to try to find where their niche is and where they can fit in.
The atmosphere of love and trust is quite a contrast to most orphanages, where imperfect children are often misunderstood and forgotten. Charlotte has thrived in this environment. She's clearly happy and has made great strides in her social interaction and language skills. Laura, too, has blossomed. After getting prescription glasses, her academics improved dramatically, and so did her self-confidence. And though she will always wonder about her parents, she told us, "I would have no life if I stayed in my old orphanage. The house parents here are very kind."
I think that's our goal, is to make them feel like they're as normal as we can. That give them an environment where they can grow just like any other child.
Orphans Promise continues to support this ministry because we see older children like Laura have hope for a happy and productive future. And that's something every child deserves.
Laura and Stephen and all of the children that you saw in that piece live in a beautiful place that is like a home. They live with house parents. They're in a setting that recreates what God intends for all of us, that we would be family, that we'd have a place to belong. That's in the heart of every child. Who am I? Where do I belong? And then the gift that they're being given, what is my purpose here? You teach children to dream again when you give them that. You can't put a price tag on that. If you'd like to help with what Orphans Promise is doing around the world, we are CBN's outreach to the orphaned and vulnerable children here in the United States as well as around the world, and we would welcome having you partner with us. So all you have to do is call our toll-free number, 1-800-759-0700. Just say, "I'd like to help the work of Orphans Promise," and we welcome you to that. Well, still ahead, the 700 Club host with the Scottish brogue, Sheila Walsh, opens up a new chapter in her life when we come back.
And welcome back to the 700 Club. In California Wednesday, pro-life activists called on the state's attorney general to resign for pandering to Planned Parenthood. Kamala Harris sent 11 agents to raid David Daleidon's apartment last week. He is the head of the Center for Medical Progress, which released undercover videos showing Planned Parenthood officials discussing the illegal trade of baby body parts. Harris is also using her Senate campaign website to promote a petition in support of Planned Parenthood. Pro-life advocates say Harris's relationship with the abortion giant is corrupt and warrants her resignation. U.S. health officials say there is conclusive evidence the Zika virus causes birth defects. Mosquitoes transmit the virus, which causes severe brain defects and babies' heads to be abnormally small. Father Frank Pavone from the Priests for Life group says the Zika virus is cause for concern but does not justify abortion. He says, quote, the child in the womb is a patient too, and killing one's patient is never an appropriate response. You can log on to operationblessing.org to find out how they are actively fighting the spread of the Zika virus and how you can help. Remember, you can always get the latest from CBN News by going to our website. It's cbnnews.com. Terry is back with more of the 700 Club. It is coming up right after this.
Sure, Sheila Walsh is an international speaker, plus a best-selling author and a popular recording artist. But on the CBN campus, she's known as a former co-host of the 700 Club. And now she's about to start a new phase of her life. Take a look.
For the past 20 years, best-selling author Sheila Walsh had been part of the Women of Faith team speaking to audiences across America. When this chapter of her life ended last year, she wondered what was next.
I really began to pray and make a consistent, intentional prayer. You know, what do you want me to do with the rest of my life?
She says the answer was very clear.
Sheila is now a part of Life Outreach and Life Today and Life Today family.
I have a real job.
Yeah, she's got a real job.
This new season in Sheila's life also includes the release of her latest book, The Longing in Me, in which she shares that God is the answer to our heartbreak, no matter how broken we may be.
Please welcome back to the 700 Club our friend Sheila Walsh. It's always great to have you
Terry.
here.
It's great to see you.
And you are such a prolific writer, girl. I mean, I don't
Honestly,
know where
it's
you
my
fit
hobby.
that in to the rest of your
It's
life.
what I love to do, though. I mean, I'm always writing. Fortunately, I don't publish everything I write. You're welcome. But I love that. I love to study. I love to dive deep, and I love to write.
Well, diving deep is what you do in everything that you write, helping us to get in touch with our feelings and usually the struggles of our life. This last book, which is so beautiful, is called The Longing in Me. What are you looking for when you talk about the longing in you?
You know, I had this experience in an arena with Women of Faith, 15,000 women worshiping the Lord. And my husband was there, my son was there. Really the best days of my life, but I felt this profound ache inside, like a real, I didn't know what it was. And I said, Lord, what's wrong with me? I mean, I'm in a beautiful place. And I began to understand that this is not something to be despised. I think it's actually a sacred ache. I think it's something that tells us we're not home yet. Yeah. And I think the trouble is that most of us feel it and we try and fill it up with another pair of shoes or another drink or another relationship.
Party, right.
But honestly, there's a place inside that only Christ can fill.
Mm-hmm. And it's not a one-time filling. I mean, just as you're talking, you've known the Lord for years, you've worked in all areas of Christianese, but that longing, that aching is with us, I think, till we go be with him, don't you?
I absolutely agree. I think it's the only time that longing will go away is when we finally see Jesus face to face, and then it'll be gone. But the trouble is, because we feel that we're believers, we shouldn't feel like this. We try and fill it, and we chase stuff and we chase people, and rather, I think now, no. Acknowledge that place, honor that place, and realize that this is it's part of our ticket that says we're going home soon.
Even in all the things that you mentioned that we try to fill that ache with, part of what we're doing is trying to control life, control what it does to us, how we respond to it, what it takes from us, what it requires of us. Is there a longing for control that is in all of us to some degree?
I think it might even be more in women than in men, to be honest. Yeah. And I think
most men would agree with that.
Part of it comes from a good place. You know, we want things to be well with our husbands and well with our children. But I think it can really cross a line. Yeah. And then, you know, when we can't control and we can't make people behave properly, you know, we either over-spiritualize it or we punish, we withdraw. Yeah. And one of the main things I wanted to say through this book is that God is for you. Yeah. No matter what place you're at in life, God is for you. And your history does not dictate your destiny. Yeah. That's one of the biggest lessons I've learned, because sometimes we start in really bad places, and even up until, recently you could be in a bad place. That does not determine where you're going.
And the great thing is he'll even take the bad and work it to good for you and for other people. What are some of the other things that we long for in our lives? I mean, control is certainly one of them, but maybe intimacy?
Yeah, I think we long to be loved. I mean, I think it's the most primal desire of every human being, to be fully known and fully loved. And yet it's scary. And I think one of the places it's most scary is in the church. Yeah. That shouldn't be that. One of the reasons, Terry, that I tend to be very open about my life, part of it comes from what Paul wrote in 1 Thessalonians. He said, I've determined among you to share not only the gospel, but my very soul. I think we need to be transparent with each other on our journeys, because then shame comes in. If you fail, you make a mistake, you think, I'm just a terrible person, I'm a terrible Christian, not knowing that 53 other people around you are going through exactly the same thing.
Yeah. Well, and I think that is sometimes why the church is so difficult to be honest with, because when God gave us boundaries to keep us in safe pasture, we've made it a judgmental issue. You went through a divorce a number of years ago and never really talked about it, which is totally understandable and commendable. But now you've come forward in the book and shared some of that experience from your perspective. Why did you decide to do that?
Well, I waited a long time. It's been over 20 years, 25 years, because I thought one person can never represent what was true for two people. Sure. And the other thing I felt was, as long as you're still angry about something or desperately sad about something, I don't think you have perspective enough to be able to speak into it. But I felt I'd come to the place in my own life where I understood my part of the journey. I think sometimes if you've had something broken in your childhood, you almost want to recreate that scenario, hoping for a different ending. We have such a desperate desire for closure. And so I felt, without putting things in that would be detrimental to my ex-husband or his family, I wanted to explain to other women, listen, I understand. It was like when my cousin, who had been very abused by her dad and watched her dad abuse her mom, then went and married a guy who abused her. And I'm like, why do you do that? But I think I understand. We think, again, it's control. Maybe this time I can have a different ending.
Yeah. I think honesty is such a significant thing in what you write, and you do that in all of your books, because when we're honest about who we are, we give other people the freedom to be honest about who they are. You're going through a tough time now. Someone could look at your life and say, she's got this all together. But you and Barry are struggling right now. Share a little bit about that.
It's so interesting, Terry. I don't think anybody would ever look at me and think she's got it all together, because I've got it all out there. Well, we went through a time where we bought a home, beautiful home, and then we decided to sell because we felt it wasn't a neighborhood that was safe for our son, who was little at the time. And housing market in Dallas was phenomenal. So we found another house and we signed on that before. We had a contract on our other house, but
people
before...
do that all the time.
Well, don't do it, people. Before the ink was dry, the bottom fell out the housing market and the contract fell away. So we carried 2 mortgages for 5 years and then made some really poor financial decisions. So last year, we had to file for bankruptcy. And but you know what? Here's what's great. Honestly, Sarah, you can discover the mercy of God in the most unusual places. I mean, I had to go as this woman of faith speaker, and I'm standing in bankruptcy court, and the judge is saying to me, so are you just hoping to get out of all of this? And I said, no, sir. I'm looking for a plan to help me reorganize our life so we can pay back every cent. I found the mercy of God in a bankruptcy court.
There's a certain freedom in that, too, isn't there? When nothing has its claws in you. Not a house, not a mortgage, not a bankruptcy. I mean, you're a child of God, and you're walking the journey day to day.
Yeah, I mean, we lost our house. We had to, both houses gone. We live in a rental place, and I'm happier than I've been in years. Yeah. And the reason I wrote about it, it's not because I think I'm the poster child for disaster. Woo! No, I just want to say to people, you know what? You're not alone.
You can make
we make bad choices, but God is faithful.
And speaking of faith, you were with Women of Faith for so many years, a wonderful team of women that blessed thousands upon thousands of people. But you got a new venture coming. That door has closed and a new one is opened. What are you doing now?
I'm so excited. I joined the team with James and Betty Robeson at Life Today, so I get to co-host that. I also get to travel with them internationally. I'm about to go off to Angola. And also we have this live, amazing web page called The Stream. And then we get to talk about the news as it really is and talk about what's not been talked about out there.
I'm so glad that you're doing that because you are so gifted in what you do as a communicator. And what a wonderful opportunity to share what God's laid on your heart and the things that He's doing in your life, which is something you do all the time.
And can I just say to you, you do a brilliant job. You are just amazing.
Thank you. We'll have coffee together. Talk about our failings. It's always great to have you here. I just want to talk about your book one more time. Here it is. Encourage you to pick up a copy. It's called The Longing in Me, and you will be blessed by everything that Sheila shares in this. It's how everything you crave leads to the heart of God. It's available in stores nationwide. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
it's always
Terry.
a treat to see you. Well, up next, a young woman is abused and held captive for 3 days.
I was so terrified, and I asked God, please, please, God, don't let me die. There's no way out of this situation except for if you help me, God.
Watch how she escaped when we come back. I can't trust anyone. I'm not safe with anyone. That's what 12-year-old Rachel Havapolo repeatedly told herself after she was raped by 2 neighbors. Her violation set off a cycle of shame and self-abuse that stalked her through adulthood and almost killed her.
I felt so defiled, and I felt like all the innocence that I ever had, like it was taken from me.
Rachel Havapolo was just 12 years old when 2 teenage boys lured her into a home and raped her.
It crushed my heart. It broke my trust of men, of people.
The 2 were arrested and convicted of rape, but that did little to ease the pain. At 14, she started cutting and dove into the Gothic lifestyle. She dabbled in Wicca and fantasized about death.
On the inside, I felt so dead and so numb, and I really wanted to die.
Throughout her teens and 20s, Rachel was in and out of jail on drug-related charges. Then, at 21, she had a daughter and became a single mom. She married the following year and eventually had a son. After she and her husband divorced, Rachel lost custody of her son and turned to harder drugs like meth.
My heart was really broken. There was an emptiness that came that's indescribable.
One day, Rachel went to a friend's house, and when she arrived, he barricaded the doors and for 3 days pumped her full of heroin and sexually abused her.
Any amount of peace that I had in my heart and any hope that I had of anything to ever get better was completely taken away. I was so terrified, and I asked God, please, please, God, don't let me die.
Finally, after 3 days, the man let her go. Rachel says shortly afterward, an even darker door opened up in her life. She started cutting even more.
Here's where I sliced through my arm with a knife. It was a way to release pain and the bottled up emotions that I was feeling, and I didn't know how else to get it out, so I would cut myself.
She finally realized neither the drugs nor cutting would bring relief.
I just cried out to God, and I said, God, please help me. I need a miracle. I need you to send your angels to help me. There's no way out of this situation except for if you help me, God, and I'm sorry for fighting against you.
A few days later, Rachel and her daughter met a couple who told her about Jesus and that she needed to put her trust in him.
I confessed that I was a sinner and that I needed Jesus and that I needed him to come and take over my life. And I surrendered everything to him.
She still needed to be healed from the wounds of abuse. She soon met Scott and Sandy Boyd. Both were pastors who spent the next 30 days helping Rachel find freedom in Christ.
He led me through several renunciation prayers to renounce drugs, alcohol, paganism, all of that stuff, just to renounce things. It was a process.
They also helped her forgive her abusers.
I was like, you know what, I need God's forgiveness, and so I'll forgive.
At the end of the 30 days, Rachel says she walked into freedom she never experienced before.
It was like I was a totally different person and I could breathe. This was my moment of like, I am a new creature, like I am a new being, and I have a whole new life like in front of me, and things just started to change.
Today, Rachel is raising Ivy, who's now a teenager, and she's reconnected with her son. Rachel is married to Mika, and she and her husband serve as missionaries in Finland, where they teach others about the love and freedom that can only be found in Jesus Christ.
I never started living until I met him. His love, it really does change everything. And that he takes the most broken, impossible, hopeless mess, and he can turn it around into something beautiful.
If you're hurting today, if you are feeling that ache deep within you that Sheila talked about earlier, or maybe you've gone through some of the same things that Rachel has, I hope that the end of her story, seeing her sitting there with peace in her heart and joy on her face and freedom in her life, brings hope to you, because she was at a place where all hope was lost, where there was nothing she could do to rescue herself, and not just from being kidnapped, but from what life had dealt her. And yet, as Corrie ten Boom used to say, there is no pit so deep that God is not deeper still. There's nothing you can do, nowhere you can go that is so far, so depraved that God cannot reach his hand down right into the midst of your mess, pull you out and set your feet on a rock, a solid foundation. One of the things that happened with Rachel was she came to terms with all of the things that were holding her captive. Certainly forgiveness of her captor and the others who'd harmed her all of her life, but also the realization that she was a sinner who needed forgiveness herself. The Bible says that we have all sinned, that we are all sinful. There's not one who goes without. So every one of us needs a Savior. You know, one of the things she said was, I'm sorry, Jesus, that it took me so long to come. I'm sorry that I let other things replace you. Listen, if that's where you're at today, you can be free right now, right this minute. Oh, there'll be a process to your healing and the things that have happened to you and the forgiveness that you need to receive and extend, but you can begin the journey right now. It's as simple as a prayer away. Will you pray with me? Just stop what you're doing right now and give Jesus the same chance you've given everything else in your life. Let's pray together. Jesus, I'm watching this story and I come before you today, trembling and humble and also knowing my great need. And I'm asking you to come into my heart and my life. I'm asking you to change me. I'm asking you to forgive me. You know the long laundry list of things that I have gone through and done and allowed, and I'm asking you today for a fresh start. Would you forgive me, Jesus? I acknowledge that you died for me. And then I'm asking you to change the way I think, change my heart, change the way I feel. I want to live for you. I want you to live in me, and I want to receive everything you have to give me. So fill me with your Holy Spirit right now. I give you all that I am and all that I have. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. If you've prayed that prayer, what do you do now? Well, we've got a great packet for you. It's called A New Day, and it's free. Even the number to get it is free, 1-800-759-0700. Call right now. Just say, I prayed that prayer, and I'd like the New Day packet. We leave you with these words from Proverbs: the name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous run to it and are safe. God bless you. We'll see you again.